Hello and Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Abdul Basit, and today I am here again with the text of Paradise Lost. We have already gone through 490 lines of Paradise Lost Book 1, and in this video I will read a few more lines of Paradise Lost Book 1. And previously we were talking about the chief devils who appear, who join Satan. And again, today we'll talk about the lost chief devil who appears and joins Satan. So let's get started.
Belial came last, than whom a spirit more lewd fell not from heaven, or more gross to love voice for itself. So Belial was the last devil to come. Okay, uh, and Belial is a synonym for Satan, but here a separate devil. And Belial was such a devil than whom a spirit more lewd fell not from heaven. Well, there was no spirit more lewd than him, more obscene than him, more vulgar than him, or more gross than him, or more gross to love vice for itself. And he was a very vulgar kind of devil who loved vice, evilness for itself. Okay, he merely loved vice. To him no temple stood or altar smoked. There was no temple for him. Nobody built an altar or temple for him. No altar smoked means no offerings were burnt for him. Yet, who more often than he in temples and at altars? And there is no one who in temples and at altars when the priest turns atheist. Okay, atheist is a person who does not believe in the existence of God, as did Eli's son. Okay, uh, Ali was a priest whose sons became atheists, and they became the sons of Belial according to the Bible. It's a biblical reference here. Milton's Paradise Lost is replete with the biblical references. Almost in every other line, you will find a biblical reference. Okay, so here again there is a biblical reference. In temples and at altars, when the priest turns atheist, as did Ali's sons, okay, who filled with lust and violence the house of God. Well, Belial was, a god, a devil, who filled the house of God with lust and violence. And there was no other devil who filled the house of God with lust and violence more than him. And he convinced the priests to become atheist. He convinced the Ali's sons to become atheists. Okay, so here it's a biblical reference. In courts and palaces he also reigns. Well, he rules in the palaces and courts as well, and in luxurious cities. He reigns in the luxurious cities where the noise of riot ascends above their loftiest towers, and he reigns in such cities where the noise of riot means violence, fights, tumult, or disorder. Well, in the luxurious cities, in the palaces, in the courts, there were riots. There was violence because of Belial, and the noise of those riots, noise of those acts of violence ascends above their loftiest towers. Means they're very high towers. The noise ascends above them, and injury and outrage, the noise of injury and outrage. And when night darkens the streets, then wander forth the sons of Belial, flown with insolence and wine. And when the darkness comes, when the night comes, and the streets get dark, then wander forth the sons of Belial. Well, sons of Belial here is an idiomatic expression that means good for nothings, the useless men, the useless people who have nothing to do. Okay, well, those useless people start wandering in the streets and flown with insolence and wine, and they wander freely. Flown here means to wander freely with insolence and wine. All right, so it is all because of Belial that the useless or the people who are good for nothing uh, wander in the streets with insolence and wine. Witness the streets of Sodom and that night in Gibeah, when the hospitable door exposed a matron to avoid worse rape. So here again there is a reference to the biblical stories. Okay, witness the streets of Sodom. Sodom is a city mentioned in the Bible, and that night in Gibeah. Gibeah is also the place that has been mentioned in the Bible. When the hospitable door exposed a matron to avoid worse rape. Well, there were some people who entered Sodom and Gibeah, and they tried to you know rape the men, but according to the biblical stories, a matron, a woman, was exposed to them to avoid the worst rape. So Milton's notion here is that the rape of men is worse than the rape of women. Well, you can see here reference to the biblical stories in Genesis chapter 19. Milton's notion that rape of men is worse than rape of women. Even then, a matron is raped to death appears supported by the biblical accounts. So this is again a biblical story here. These were the prime in order and might. These were the devils who were prime in order, who were the chiefs. Okay, the rest were long to tell. The rest were long to tell. Well, there is a long list of the other devils, though far renowned, the Ionian gods, and they were known as the Ionian gods, means the Greek gods of Javan's issue held gods. Okay, Javan, he was Japheth's son and therefore Noah's grandson. Milton identifies him with Ion, the progenitor of the Ionian Greeks, according to the Pausanias description of Greece. This is the name of a book, description of Greece, and according to this, Javan was Noah's grandson, and Milton identifies the Ionian gods with him. Okay, yet confessed later than heaven and earth. Well, these Ionian gods, these Greek gods, were confessed later than heaven and earth. Their boosted parents, Titan. Their parents were Titan. Titan, were defeated by Jove. Titan were the heaven's firstborn, with his enormous brood and birthright seized by younger Saturn. Alright, so Titans were seized by Saturn, he from mightier Jove, his own, and Saturn was seized by Jove, his own and Rhea's son, like Mayer found, so Jove usurping reigned. Saturn seized the Titans, and Jove seized Saturn, and he reigned alone. He usurped the reign, and he alone reigned. Jove alone reigned. These first in Crete and Ida known, thence on the snowy top of old Olympus ruled the middle air, their highest heaven, or on the Delphian cliff, or in Dodona, and through all the bounds of Doric land, or who with Saturn old fled over Adria to the Hesperian fields, and over the Celtic roamed the utmost isles. Okay, so these first in Crete and Ida known. These gods were first uh, known in Crete. Okay, so Crete, the largest island in Greece, and Ida is the highest mountain in Greece. The highest mountain, uh, the birthplace of Zeus according to Greek mythology. Ida is the highest mountain and it is the birthplace of Zeus according to the Greek mythology. So these gods uh, lived in Crete, that is the island, the largest island in Greece, and Ida. Thence, on the snowy top of cold Olympus ruled the middle air, and then they reached the Olympus mountain, Olympus. Therefore, they are called Olympian gods, their highest heaven, and Olympus was their highest heaven. Or on the Delphian cliff, well, they were also known in Delphi. Well, Delphi is the place where the oracle of Apollo exists. Okay, or in Dodona. Dodona is the place where is the oracle of Zeus. And through all the bounds of Doric land is Greece. Okay, or who with Saturn old fled over Adria. Adria is the sea, actually, the Adriatic Sea, to the Hesperian fields. Hesperian fields, the land of the westering sun or Italy, and over the Celtic Ireland, Wales, Scotland, or Brittany. These are the places that are called Celtic because these were the people who were called Celts in the history. Therefore, these places are called Celtic. Roamed the utmost isles, and they roamed the British Isles as well. So these gods were worshipped from Greece to the British Isles, actually. So this was their reign that was spread from Greece to the British Isles. So Milton here again introduces the Olympian gods. According to Milton, they are also the part of these devils. Okay, they are also devils who fell with Satan to hell. All right.
So here at the end, I'll tell you the summary of all these lines in which various devils have been introduced to us. Okay, so the first devil who appears is Moloch. The first to come is Moloch, who is covered in blood. He somehow deceived Solomon, an Old Testament king, to build a temple for him. Next comes Chemos. After the Israelites made it out of Egypt, they started spending a lot of time with non-Hebrew peoples and eventually started worshipping this Chemos. With Chemos and Moloch come Baalim and Ashtoreth. Both of these are general words to refer to types of male and female pagan deities found in the region that is now the modern-day Middle East, especially Syria, Iraq, Israel, and Jordan. Ashtoreth or Astarte, as the Phoenicians called her, also comes with the fallen angels. She was worshipped by Phoenician virgins and also by the Israelites in their promised land. Tammuz comes next. He was supposedly wounded every year, which caused the river Adonis to become a purplish color because of his blood. After him comes Rimmon, a deity worshipped in what is now modern-day Syria. Next come the bestial and beastly Egyptian gods with animal heads, Isis, Osiris, and Horus. The last to arrive is Belial. Nobody ever built a temple for him, but he can be found everywhere. He loves vice for itself and is associated with insolent debauchery. There were a lot of other fallen angels, but it would take forever to name them all, says our narrator. For example, there were also the Olympian gods that the ancient Greeks worshipped. A lot of other devils come, and they all look unhappy, though they appear to have some hope left. They are glad to find that Satan is not in total despair. So this was all about today's lecture. I hope that you have got the full understanding of all these lines of Paradise Lost. So if you like the video, if you like the content, please hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to my channel if you have not already done yet. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.